right, next up in viewer game analysis, we have, I believe, the highest level game we've ever had to be featured. And this is with white, a 2100, and with black, an 1800. And again, this is from a game in 25 with 5-second delay tournament sent in to me by one of our viewers that, if I recall, because I got the email months ago, it was a connection I had from the Emery Castle chess camp in Atlanta, of which now I'm a board member on. And definitely take a look at the website, because I don't say it to advertise. It's a non-profit board. I say it because Castle Chess had a major impact on my life, which is why if you watch all my videos, you'll hear me reference it more than other learning sources that I had, because it was my first experience getting to work with very strong chess players and seeing how they work. And it's a week-long camp for adults and kids. So if you're interested, take a look at it. Great camp. Anyways, back to it. I can see the skeleton of all the ideas here of a very strong player with white, and I'll say this 2100 player is well on his way to master playing the way he did with white in this game. Some very impressive ideas. But there were definitely missed opportunities for black. But a game in 25, it's hard to be critical. And definitely, I'm guessing that the ages of these players, they're relatively young, and they still have a lot of experience to gain. But let's get right into it. And recently, I actually spent a decent amount of time analyzing the Exchange Caro-Kann for black's perspective. And unlike the Exchange French, I feel like there's only one or two lines where white has a negligible edge in the Exchange French, but black can definitely try to press in all those positions. They may look dry, but if you're a good technical player, you can work. But with the Exchange Caro-Kann, there are some lines that give me extreme pause, and talking about some theory on like move 17, and goes against theory that we see in like the big book on the Caro-Kann that recently came out in Chessable, the lifetime repertoire on the Caro-Kann. So bishop d3, let's get to it. Good starting move, deprives the c8 bishop of its best square. And already on the first move, I think this is a bit inaccurate for black. I mean, more than likely it'll transpose to make little sense or difference. But I think knight c6 is the best way to go, because we hit the d4 pawn, encouraging white to play c3. Also a move that he normally plays, but why not try to get a defensive move out of your opponent immediately? And one line that I've tinkered with, because I get tired of just allowing a colors reversed Carlsbad structure for my opponent, and low-rated players can play it at a very, very high level. So when you're trying to win with black, you typically want to avoid things that are natural and easy to play, or positions which are extremely straightforward to play, like the white side of a Yugoslav attack in the Dragon. Okay, I play g4 and h4. Oh, like that is not a difficult plan. So I like the idea of g6, and then basically no matter what next move comes from white, say knight e2, we go bishop f5 and try to get this imbalanced pawn structure. White does have his first move edge, but I've been able to outplay other masters from this position with black, and it's a favorite of Grandmaster Joe Baba when he plays this position. He's had a number of games in Title Tuesday with it. So definitely ideas for black there. So let's get on with the main game. And so far so good. White's done everything correctly. Bishop f4, bishop g4, and this is the main line, queen b3. And queen c8 is the old school stuff. More modern, and what is recommended in the lifetime repertoire is queen d7. And then you see like knight d2. We don't want to play knight f3 immediately because it takes. After e6, knight gf3, bishop d6. And this pawn you don't want to grab due to ideas with rook b8. Black definitely gets his fair share of play. And then on castles, I believe he recommended rook b8. And then you want to harass the bishop and then begin your attack, a lot like we're going to see in the main game. And this is a critical moment for knight. Is it knight e7? I might have messed up the move order some. Maybe not rook b8, but queen c7 instead. And we get the same type of position. I was hanging the a pawn in one variation with queen a4 check. But after rook a1, the idea is knight e7, so that we are able to take back with the knight, and we're not required to take back with the h-pawn. Because, say for instance, this structure is very conducive to a kingside attack, which we'll see in the main game, and it's what black needs to avoid. And black needs to play accurately at different junctures in order to avoid this. So after knight e7, I believe a difficult move to deal with is knight h4, and I haven't quite figured out what's best for black if this idea doesn't work. I may not have the position exactly as I'm doing this from memory for one of my students, and I'm not even a Caro-Kann player, but hopefully at least the skeleton of the ideas will help the viewer if you play these positions on either side. But okay, queen c8, knight d2, knight f3. So we've got a bunch of normal stuff, and then white shows he understands the position and the plan in the position. So that's very good. Bishop h5, and now knight e5. Everything's looking great. a6, and this is a critical moment. If you're a pause your video type of guy, now's the moment to do it with white to figure out what is the best way to play. I told you that we're attacking, but how? All right, hopefully you pause and try to figure it out. Rook e3, and I'll give you a single exclam for that because it's such a nice move, and we're playing for the attack in the long term here. The rook's going to slide over. Absolutely love it. Knight takes e5 was played. We take with a more forcing of the two pieces, taking with a pawn, kicks the defender off of d7, and now queen c2 was played in the game, and this is one of the only inaccuracies that white has. We actually have a very interesting continuation, and I don't blame him at all for queen c2, him or her. I don't have names. Bishop takes h7 was a very interesting idea, and you may want to go for it just because it is fast time controls, where black's got to find accurate moves like f5 to try to stay in the game. But this still looks very dangerous for black. So depending upon your style as a player, this may or may not have been the best route. But after queen c2, we have a significant moment here because white gets what he wants. Bishop takes. And this is an absolute critical moment because black has been worse the entire game. White has retained his first move advantage. He's done everything right. He's played a very solid opening. He played the best idea within the solid opening developmentally. Perfection. You can't do better than that. Well, one more compliment. Very masterly play. But this move, bishop takes g6, it's great for white if black captures one way, and without the engine looking at this position, because there's a position similar to this in Panchenko's Mastering Chess Middle Games. I recorded the video for that great course on Chessable. Capturing the other way now gets a tempo on the bishop, opens up the f-file, and in my opinion, black's already got some pull here because after a natural move like bishop g3, what else? Bishop c5, and you can begin to see black's the one who has the pressure here. So this is an absolutely critical moment, and more than likely just not thinking black had an automatic recapture here with h takes g6. rules are meant to be broken, and taken away from the center in this case gave dynamic chances, and black missed a huge opportunity against this much higher rated opponent. So after hg6, rook h3, b5, rook e1. I won't fault that move too much. The engine likes some other things, but it gives you more support on the e-pawn, and it induced the mistake. Now, if b4, black should be fine, but I'm still worried about the attack in the long term here. The idea generally is going to be knight f3, bishop g5, and once you remove that guard, then I just need to get my queen lined up with the rook on the h-file. That's essentially the overall plan. But knight b6 takes pressure off the e-pawn, and without this knight to help to be able to play f6 in some variations, you see a huge eval change from the engine after knight b6 as white knight f3. After b4, it's too slow. I'm still a big fan of bishop g5. After knight g5 played in the game, there are some minor chances for black. Queen c4, bishop d2, protect the bishop, rook a c8. And now we understand the plan. We understand where we're at in the position. Another pause your video moment if you're into that sort of thing. White to play. What do you do here? All right, hopefully you paused the video and came up with an idea. And there is a beautiful idea for white in the position. Knight takes e6, and we'll give you 2 exclams for that, as it removes the guard. And nothing doing. You got to defend e6. Okay, rook h7, and I believe this is mate in 4. But after queen h5, black resigns, understandably. So overall, beautifully played game by white with only some minor inaccuracies, but that's going to happen in game in 25 and rapid time controls. So not really faulting you too much there. Not the biggest fan of the exchange Caro-Kann. Just, I'm more of a, if you're going to play e4, play the aggressive e4 stuff. If you're not, you might as well play d4 and get more winning chances. But overall, you can't knock white if you got a big edge out of the opening, and everything seemed to go right, and the plan was understood. Black did miss on bishop takes g6, a huge opportunity to equalize with f takes g6, critical moment. So hopefully the ideas in the opening, I gave a little for both sides and hit on some key moments in the game. Hopefully it was instructive for the viewer, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you're enjoying viewer game analysis and the like, please hit like and subscribe. And you know what we have up here? We have a way to contact me if you would like your game analyzed. And I have had questions. Well, you analyze most of the games, if not all of them. Most, if not all. I'm typically looking for games that have instructive errors or have a ping pong, if you will. I've had some people email me, and then about an hour later, they'll email me again, say, oh, don't worry about looking over that game because I analyzed it. So take into account, I want these types of fierce struggles that are instructive. Maybe you looked at it with the engine, maybe you didn't. It's fine. But like one-sided victories and that sort of thing, I'm rarely going to look over those games. Or if I've had some games submitted to where it was such an early blunder, like a move 5 blunder in the opening, that the rest of the game is broken from... Well, I mean, it's the sick buffalo concept. One piece can ruin the entire position. I don't typically analyze those games because the instructive part of the game was over as soon as I began the video. So please don't be offended if I don't analyze the game. But I do my best to get to as many as possible, and I try to find all the juice out of it. So thank you again for joining in. Until next time.